Imagine this for a moment. You're holding a simple 5-cent coin. You've tossed it on tables, spent it on snacks, ignored it at the bottom of drawers. But what if I told you that one tiny Jefferson nickel in your pocket could secretly be worth thousands, even millions of dollars? Yes, the same coin we use every single day has hidden treasures, ultra-rare errors, impossible minting mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime varieties that have shocked collectors, broken auction records, and made ordinary people unbelievably rich overnight. These nickels look normal, until you know what to look for. One small detail can turn a 5-cent coin into a life-changing jackpot. And today, I'm going to show you the most valuable Jefferson nickel coins ever discovered. Coins that sold for jaw-dropping prices, coins hiding in jars, cupboards, wallets, and yes, maybe even in your pocket right now. So get ready, because the nickel you thought was worthless might just be the most valuable thing you own. Before we dive into these legendary nickels, think about this. Every amazing discovery in coin history started the same way, with someone just like you. Someone who picked up an ordinary-looking coin, tilted it under the light, noticed something strange, and suddenly realized they were holding a small piece of American history worth a fortune. These rare Jefferson nickels are not just coins. They are accidents of perfection, born from minting errors that were never supposed to happen. A double design, a misplaced minting strike, a wrong metal plancher, or tiny details the mint overlooked for only a few seconds. But those few seconds created treasures people now fight for at auctions. Collectors wait years just to find one. Auction houses explode with bids the moment these nickels appear. And once you learn what makes them valuable, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Because every nickel you find from today onward could be the one. This video is not just entertainment. It might be an opportunity. The difference between a 5-cent coin and $1 million nickel is knowledge. And you're about to get that knowledge right now. Let's uncover the first rare Jefferson nickel on our list, a coin that stunned experts and made history with its unbelievable value. The first coin on our list is one of the most legendary Jefferson nickels ever discovered. A coin so rare and so visually striking that collectors consider it one of the holy treasures of American numismatics. This is the famous 1942 D over horizontal D Jefferson nickel, a coin whose value has shocked the world again and again. At first glance, this nickel looks ordinary. Just another wartime piece you might have handled hundreds of times in your life. But when you look closer, especially beneath the mint mark, you discover something extraordinary. A minting accident frozen forever in metal. During production, the D mint mark was mistakenly punched sideways. And instead of scrapping the die, mint workers corrected it by punching a second D in the proper upright direction. This created a dramatic double-layered mint mark, where the first sideways D is still clearly visible beneath the corrected one, making it one of the most eye-catching errors ever created on a Jefferson nickel. Collectors love this coin not just because of how rare it is, but because the error is bold, dramatic, and easily seen with the naked eye. It's the kind of mistake the mint never wanted to exist. Yet today, it is the reason this simple nickel is worth more than luxury watches, high-end electronics, and even cars. Only a tiny number of these coins survived, and the majority that did were heavily circulated before people understood the variety. That's why high-grade examples are unbelievably rare and command incredible prices. Even a lightly circulated piece can sell for $5,000 to $10,000, depending on condition. Sharp and well-preserved examples easily cross $20,000 to $40,000. And when you step into the top grades, the prices become stunning. Premium uncirculated coins with strong details have sold for over $80,000, and elite, near-perfect specimens have shattered expectations, with final auction prices climbing above $100,000. Experts strongly believe that the finest possible example, if discovered, could sell for $300,000, $500,000, or even push into the realm of $1 million, simply because the variety is rare, visually obvious, and highly desired by collectors worldwide. Just think about that for a second. A simple nickel, a coin worth only 5 cents, now valued like a luxury sports car, a small house, or a life-changing treasure, all because of a tiny mistake no one noticed at the time. This is what makes coin collecting magical. This is why treasure hunters, collectors, and everyday people still check their loose change, their old jars, their parents' and grandparents' coin collections, hoping to stumble upon one of these mythical coins. Because owning a 1942 D over horizontal D nickel doesn't just mean having a rare coin. It means holding a piece of history that can literally transform your life in a single moment. And this is only the first coin on our list. The next rare Jefferson nickel has an even more surprising story and a price tag The second coin on our list is a coin that has mesmerized collectors for decades. A nickel that looks simple at first glance but hides one of the most dramatic minting errors in United States coin history. This is the legendary 1939 doubled Monticello Jefferson nickel, a coin whose rarity, beauty, and bold doubling have made it one of the most sought-after treasures in the entire Jefferson series. When someone casually picks up a 1939 nickel, they usually see nothing more than an old 5-cent piece. But the moment you flip it over and notice the powerful doubled lettering on the reverse, everything changes. The words Monticello and 5 cents appear struck twice, with thick, clear, unmistakable doubling that jumps out instantly, even without a magnifying glass. This dramatic effect was created when the die received two impressions at slightly different angles during preparation, and instead of being discarded, it was put into use, unknowingly releasing one of the boldest doubled die varieties ever made. What makes this coin extraordinary is that very few were ever produced, and even fewer survived with strong details. Many of the coins entered circulation and experienced years of wear, erasing the sharpness of the doubling. That is why collectors hunt aggressively for well-preserved examples, and whenever a high-grade coin appears, its price skyrockets. Even a circulated piece with visible doubling can bring $5,000 to $3,000, which is already a massive leap from a simple 5-cent value. But when you step into uncirculated grades, the numbers grow dramatically. Clean, sharp pieces with strong luster often sell for $8,000 to $15,000, depending on how bold the doubling appears. Premium, high-end examples, coins with beautiful surfaces and crisp details, have reached astonishing levels at major auctions. Some of the finest recorded specimens have sold for $30,000, $40,000, and in exceptional cases even over $50,000. Making this one of the most valuable doubled dies in the entire Jefferson nickel family. Collectors and experts both agree that if the perfect example ever appears, a flawless, fully brilliant museum-quality coin, it could easily push into the $75,000 to $100,000 range. And that is why treasure hunters, collectors, and everyday people continue searching through old rolls, inherited jars, dusty boxes, and random change just hoping to get lucky. Because imagine discovering this coin by accident. Imagine pulling out an old nickel from a drawer, noticing the strange double lettering, and realizing that the coin in your hand is worth more than a high-end computer, more than a motorcycle, even more than what many people earn in an entire year. That thrill, that moment of shock, is exactly why this coin has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. And this is only the second coin. The next rare Jefferson nickel on our list has an even more surprising story, and its value reaches levels that very few people ever expect. The third coin on our list is a coin so mysterious, so rare, and so unbelievable that collectors still argue about how it even escaped the mint. This is the legendary 1964 Special Mint Set Jefferson nickel, a coin that looks normal at first, but under the surface, it carries a secret that has stunned the entire numismatic world. In 1964, the United States Mint did not produce any official special mint sets, yet a few extremely special, hand-selected, high-quality coins somehow slipped into the world. These were not regular nickels. They were struck with polished dies, sharper details, and a silky, almost proof-like finish never seen on standard circulation coins of that year. Only a tiny handful of these 1964 SMS nickels exist, fewer than a dozen confirmed, and each one is considered a national treasure among collectors. Imagine holding a coin from a year where SMS coins were never supposed to exist. That mystery alone already gives this nickel an incredible aura. But the value takes it to another level. Even a single verified example of this rare coin has sold for tens of thousands of dollars, shocking collectors at major auctions. Mid-level SMS specimens have brought $15,000 to $25,000, depending on their surfaces. But the true monsters, the finest known, nearly flawless pieces with razor-sharp strikes and glowing satin surfaces, have sold for $30,000, $40,000, and some recorded sales have pushed above $50,000. Making this one of the most valuable and sought-after Jefferson nickels ever found. Experts believe that if a perfect 1964 SMS example, graded at the absolute top, appears on the market, the price could explode past $70,000, $100,000, or even higher because collectors fiercely compete for these mysterious coins. What makes this coin even more exciting is the mystery behind it. Nobody knows exactly why these SMS coins were made. Some believe they were experimental strikes, created secretly to test the new minting equipment used in the mid-1960s. Others believe they were special presentation coins made only for high-ranking officials inside the mint. A few experts even think they were prototypes for the 1965-1967 special mint sets that came later. Whatever the truth may be, one thing remains certain. These coins were never meant for the public, and their survival is a miracle. That's why collectors treat them like hidden jewels, because the chances of finding a 1964 SMS nickel in the wild are almost zero. Yet every now and then, a surprise discovery changes everything. Just imagine finding one of these coins by accident. A nickel sitting in an old collection, tucked into a forgotten drawer, or resting inside a dusty inherited coin album, suddenly turning out to be worth more than a brand new car. That shock, that heartbeat-stopping moment of realizing you've uncovered a legendary piece of mint history is exactly why this coin is so famous. And believe it or not, the next coin on our list has a story that is even more surprising. The fourth coin on our list is a coin that proves how a tiny mistake at the mint can transform an ordinary 5-cent piece into a life-changing treasure. This is the 1943 P3/2 overdate Jefferson nickel, one of the most dramatic and shocking overdate errors ever discovered in U.S. coinage. At first glance, it looks like a typical wartime nickel with the large mint mark above Monticello, but hidden in the date lies a stunning secret. When you zoom in on the 3 in 1943, you can see the shadow of a 2 underneath. Clear, bold, undeniable proof that the die originally carried the date 1942, but was later repunched into 1943. This rare overdate was never meant to exist, yet a tiny number of coins struck from this corrected die slipped into circulation, creating one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever found. Collectors love this coin because the error is dramatic and easily visible. You don't need a microscope or special tools. The overlapping numbers speak for themselves. It's a minting accident frozen in history, created during a time when America was in the middle of World War II and mint workers were under immense pressure. That pressure led to mistakes, and those mistakes created treasures. The rarity of this coin is incredible. Very few exist, and almost all are heavily circulated, making high-grade examples unbelievably valuable. Even lower-grade versions with clear overdate details can bring $800 to $2,000 depending on sharpness. Mid-grade examples jump to $3,000 to $7,000, especially when the overdate is bold and the surfaces are clean. But the real shock comes when you enter the upper grades. Strong, uncirculated pieces with glowing luster and crisp details have sold for $10,000, $15,000, and even beyond $20,000 at major auctions. The finest known specimens, the elite, coins that look almost untouched, since the day they were struck, have exploded past $30,000 and continue rising as collectors fight to own one of the most eye-catching overdates in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Experts believe that a perfect, museum-quality example could someday break the $40,000 to $50,000 barrier, especially as more collectors enter the hobby and rare varieties become even harder to find. Just imagine finding this coin in an old jar, in your father's collection, or tucked away inside a forgotten envelope. You flip it over, look at the date, and suddenly realize that the 3 isn't normal. It has the ghost of a 2 hiding inside it. That discovery alone could turn an ordinary day into an unforgettable moment, because you wouldn't just be holding a nickel. You'd be holding a piece of wartime history worth thousands of dollars. And that's what makes this coin so exciting. It's rare, mysterious, historic, and incredibly valuable. Everything a treasure hunter dreams of. But believe it or not, the next valuable Jefferson nickel on our list has a price tag that climbs even higher, depending on grade, condition, and error strength. The fifth coin on our list is one of the most captivating and valuable Jefferson nickels ever discovered. The legendary 1950D double-die Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin from the mid-20th century, but for collectors, this coin is instantly recognizable as one of the boldest and most dramatic double-die varieties in the entire Jefferson nickel series. The doubling on this coin is immediately visible and striking. The date 1950 appears doubled, and the inscriptions on the reverse, including the words 5 cents and Monticello, show clear, bold doubling that practically jumps off the surface of the coin when viewed under light. This remarkable effect was caused by a misalignment during the die preparation process, where the die received an extra strike at a slightly shifted angle. This tiny minting error, which should never have reached circulation, created a variety that collectors now hunt obsessively, and it has become one of the most prized Jefferson nickels in the hobby. The rarity and appeal of this coin cannot be overstated. Even circulated examples with some wear command significant attention in the collecting world. often selling for $2,500 to $5,000, depending on how visible and dramatic the doubling appears. But when we move into uncirculated grades, the value increases sharply. Well-preserved coins with strong, clear doubling frequently fetch $10,000 to $20,000. An exceptional high grade. Examples have been known to sell for $30,000 to $50,000 at major auctions. These coins are not just rare. They are museum quality. Treasures that represent a moment of minting history frozen in metal. The very finest specimens, with razor-sharp doubling and bright, pristine surfaces, have been known to reach beyond $60,000, and experts predict that a truly flawless example could someday break into the $75,000 to $100,000 range, making it one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever struck. What makes this coin so fascinating is not only its monetary value, but also the story behind it. During the post-war period, the United States Mint was producing enormous quantities of coins, and dies were under constant stress. Human error was almost inevitable, and that tiny misalignment created something extraordinary. It was an accident that transformed an ordinary 5-cent coin into a collectible of immense historical and financial significance. Imagine discovering one of these nickels in a drawer, an inherited collection, or a forgotten roll of coins. What was once ordinary, pocket change, could suddenly be worth tens of thousands of dollars, or even more, depending on its condition. This is the magic of rare coins. A small, unnoticed detail can transform an everyday object into a life-changing treasure, a moment that every collector dreams of experiencing. The next Jefferson nickel is even rarer, with a story and error so remarkable that its price reaches astronomical levels, leaving collectors stunned. The sixth coin on our list is one of the rarest and most fascinating Jefferson nickels ever discovered. The legendary 1945 S/S Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary World War II-era nickel, the kind you've seen 1,000 times in circulation or tucked away in old coin jars. But for serious collectors, this coin is instantly recognizable as one of the most dramatic and valuable minting errors in Jefferson nickel history. The secret lies in the mint mark. On this coin, the S mint mark from San Francisco was struck twice, one slightly misaligned above the other, creating a bold and unmistakable over S effect that jumps out the moment you inspect the coin. This type of minting mistake is extremely rare because the U.S. Mint typically caught errors like this during production. Yet a small number of these nickels escaped into circulation, creating one of the most prized and sought-after coins in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Collectors often describe this coin as a crown jewel because it combines history, rarity, and dramatic visual appeal into a single 5-cent piece. The value of the 1945 S/S Jefferson nickel is staggering, and it continues to amaze collectors and investors alike. Even coins in lower circulated grades, where the doubling is visible but the surfaces show wear, can sell for $3,000 to $7,000, depending on how distinct the over mint mark appears. Uncirculated coins with strong details and clean surfaces dramatically increase in value, often selling for $15,000 to $30,000, with premium high-grade examples commanding $50,000 or more at major auctions. Experts agree that a flawless, perfectly preserved specimen could easily push past $75,000 and possibly reach $100,000 or beyond. This kind of value is almost unimaginable for a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents, yet it demonstrates the incredible power of rarity and historical significance in numismatics. What makes this coin so captivating is not just its value, but its story and the thrill of discovery. Imagine finding one of these coins tucked away in a drawer, inside a dusty old collection, or even in a jar of loose change. Most people wouldn't even notice the tiny doubling of the S, yet that small detail transforms a common coin into a rare treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars, potentially even a life-changing fortune. The coin is a perfect example of how history hides in everyday objects, and how the tiniest minting errors can turn ordinary coins into some of the most valuable collectibles in the world. The 1945 S/S Jefferson nickel is proof that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places, and it is exactly the kind of coin that keeps collectors searching, studying, and hoping to find their own life-changing discovery. And believe it or not, the next Jefferson nickel on our list is even rarer and more valuable, with a story that will leave collectors stunned and a price tag. The seventh coin on our list is arguably one of the rarest and most jaw-dropping Jefferson nickels ever discovered. The legendary 1939 D doubled Monticello reverse nickel. At first glance, it may appear to be an ordinary 5-cent coin minted in Denver during the late 1930s. But a closer look at the reverse reveals a completely different story. The word Monticello on the back of the coin is boldly doubled, striking and dramatic, with the letters appearing almost three-dimensional when viewed under light. Unlike minor doubling that sometimes appears on coins, this double die effect is extremely pronounced and immediately noticeable, making it a true gem for collectors who understand its significance. This remarkable error was created during die preparation, when the die received two slightly misaligned impressions. Only a very small number of coins struck from this die ever made it into circulation, which is why it is now one of the most coveted Jefferson nickel varieties in existence. The rarity of this coin is directly reflected in its value, which continues to astonish collectors and investors alike. Even circulated examples with visible doubling but somewhere typically sell for $1,500 to $3,500, depending on the clarity and sharpness of the doubled lettering. When the coin is found in uncirculated condition, with strong details and brilliant surfaces, the value skyrockets, often reaching $10,000 to $20,000. The most exceptional, high-grade specimens with flawless surfaces and strikingly clear doubling have been known to sell for $30,000 to $50,000 at major auctions, making this coin one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever minted. Experts and collectors alike believe that if a perfect, museum-quality example were ever discovered, the coin could easily command $75,000 to $100,000 or even higher, depending on the market and competition among serious collectors. What makes this coin particularly exciting is not just its incredible monetary value, but the story it tells about the era in which it was minted. The late 1930s were a time of high production at the Denver Mint, and human error was almost inevitable. This small mistake, the doubling of the letters on the reverse, resulted in a coin that has become legendary among numismatists. Imagine discovering this nickel by accident, perhaps tucked away in an old coin collection, buried in a jar of loose change, or hiding in a forgotten roll of coins. The thrill of realizing that the coin in your hand is worth tens of thousands of dollars, possibly even more, is what makes this discovery so exhilarating. It transforms an ordinary 5-cent piece into a treasure with historical significance, financial value, and a story that spans decades. And the excitement doesn't end here. The next Jefferson nickel on our list is even rarer and more valuable, featuring a minting error that is so dramatic it has left collectors speechless and sold for truly astronomical prices at auction. The 8th coin on our list is one of the rarest and most spectacular Jefferson nickels ever discovered, the legendary 1951 double die Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it may seem like a standard nickel minted in San Francisco, the kind that circulated widely during the early 1950s, but for collectors, this coin is instantly recognizable as one of the boldest and most valuable double die varieties in the entire Jefferson nickel series. The error is most striking on the reverse of the coin, where the inscriptions Monticello and 5 cents appear dramatically doubled. This bold doubling was caused during the die preparation process, when the die received a second impression at a slightly misaligned angle, creating a strong and unmistakable double die effect that is immediately noticeable, even to a trained eye. Only a tiny number of these coins were struck, and very few have survived in high-grade condition, making it one of the most sought-after Jefferson nickels in existence. The market value of this coin is truly astonishing, reflecting its extreme rarity and collector demand. Even lower-grade circulated examples, where wear has softened the doubling, but it is still visible, can sell for $2,000 to $5,000, depending on the sharpness of the error and the overall condition of the coin. When we move into uncirculated grades, the value jumps dramatically. Well-preserved coins with crisp, clear doubling and strong surfaces can fetch anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000, while the finest, most flawless specimens, those with brilliant luster and razor-sharp details, have sold at major auctions for $40,000 to $60,000. Experts predict that a perfect, museum-quality 1951 double die Jefferson nickel could easily push into the $75,000 or more range, making it one of the highest-valued coins in the entire Jefferson nickel series. This is a nickel that transforms ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary, life-changing treasure, all because of a single momentary misalignment during the minting process. What makes this coin truly fascinating is not just its monetary value, but the story behind it. In the early 1950s, the U.S. Mint was under intense pressure to produce vast quantities of coins for everyday circulation, and human error was almost inevitable. That tiny misalignment, which may have seemed insignificant at the time, created one of the most dramatic and coveted varieties in numismatic history. Collectors search diligently for these coins in old coin rolls, inherited collections, jars of pocket change, and forgotten drawers, because discovering one can be life-changing. Imagine picking up a simple nickel from a jar, noticing the bold doubling, and realizing that the coin in your hand is worth tens of thousands of dollars. The 1951 double die Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and a small minting mistake can transform an ordinary 5-cent coin into a treasure. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the most valuable and rare Jefferson nickels, coins that might have been sitting in your pocket, jar, or old collection all along, waiting to be discovered. From the legendary 1942 D over horizontal D to the incredible 1951 double die, each coin on this list tells a story of history, mystery, and astonishing value. These nickels are proof that even the smallest, most ordinary-looking coins can hold life-changing treasures if you know what to look for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Jefferson nickels, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video about rare coins, minting errors, and hidden treasures. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever found a coin that surprised you with its value? Who knows, maybe your next nickel could be worth a fortune. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, discovery, and the thrill of uncovering something extraordinary that connects us to the past. Keep searching, keep learning, and keep exploring, because the next rare coin could be waiting for you. Stay tuned for more incredible coin stories, and until next time, happy collecting.